And speaking of Caden Curry, when is his announcement date?
Well, I talked to him about that Friday. He said, he's thinking probably the Lawrence North game week, which I think is October, so sometime in October. But he still wants to take all that. That's not set in stone. He still wants to take his official visits, and that could be difficult. He's planning on going to Ohio State for the Oregon game, which is September 11th, and then Oregon's one of the teams on his list, and that may be the most problematic to get to just based on scheduling and trying to get out there timing wise. And he'll probably have to skip a Saturday, film session. He said to get out there to do that, so he doesn't know for sure when that'll be. That's definitely somewhere he wants to visit, though. He'd like to visit all of his finalists, which is Alabama, Clemson, Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State. So, and he's been to all of those except for Oregon in an unofficial capacity. So, that's kind of where he's at with that. He's not in he's not in any, rush. I don't think to make a decision. I don't think he's being pressured by any of the teams who are recruiting him. They're kind of telling him, do what you got to do, take your time. And some guys kind of jump on something, because it may not be there in a few weeks, but he's down in that position. So, I did talk to him about IU and their plan for him, is to play that bull position, which is kind of a coverage and it's kind of a hybrid position, which is different than all of the other schools recruiting him. So he likes that idea, and I think that's appealing to him as he goes through this process. And I know, from talking to him before that's something that, I use definitely in the mix. And there are some guys down there from Center Grove who are on the team now who, he's familiar with, that he has a good relationship with. So, I don't sense that he's just has IU on the list just because they're in state. I think it's a real thing.
And I wonder if, since he's going into the season, into October, well, that gives plenty of time to see what Indiana's doing. If they can go to Iowa and win and beat Cincinnati at home and get off to a start like that, I would think that would maybe help. Help Indiana's cause. I would think winning, of course, always helps. But yeah, if they go out and do that, maybe that helps. I don't know, or who knows if that's comes into his decision making or not. But it cannot hurt. I promise you, losing would not help.
Yeah, it's always interesting, winning, and I obviously the consistency of a program is going to help you, and it's sort of not one thing or another, but I think it's a mix. And I think Curry, and there is some real momentum in recruiting for IU right now, and if you could get Curry, that may be the biggest victory, recruiting wise, Tom Allen's had, and I just, and I think Curry knows that, and I think any any kid who's in that position, you're sort of another, if you go to Alabama or Clemson, you're another guy, you're another 4-star, you're another, cog, and you go to IU, and that's, it's a bigger story. Now, I don't know that that's going to matter in his decision. He's going to look, it's always been hard, I think, for IU to win against Ohio State in these recruiting matchups, throughout the years. Anytime a kid has had an Ohio State offer from this state, it seems like that's where they go. Who's to argue that? That's Ohio State is a powerhouse. And every, they put guys in the league. They have great facilities. We all know the Ohio State story, so you can't really blame them for that. But I think if there's any time, it's now. To get a guy like Curry, if you're going to do it, this is a prime opportunity. And I think you're right. I think if they can go beat Iowa, if they can get off to a good start in the season, it only kind of helps your visibility as a program, your momentum, everything that goes with it. If you go out and start and you get blown out and you kind of stumble out of the gate, and then it's kind of like, well, here they go. They're back to, the mood will be, well, they're back to being IU football. Yeah, that could kind of be the storyline. So, you're right. I mean, I don't think that's going to ultimately sway him, definitively one way or another if they beat Iowa or not. But all of that factors into it, I think, and I think there's good vibes around the program that he feels, and I think that's a real thing right now.